Hey everyone! So today, we're going to do something a little different. We're diving into this really powerful idea, nationalism, but we're looking at it through a super interesting lens, an actual lesson plan for junior high students in Nigeria. It's this amazing peek into how a country teaches what it calls the Naija spirit.
And what I love is that the lesson plan just jumps right in. It hits us with the big question, right? This is the question that's going to drive everything we talk about today. Seriously, what makes people put their entire country above themselves? Let's dig in and find out.
Okay, so section 1, it's called A Shiver of Pride. And that's, well, it's just a perfect title, isn't it? Because the whole point here is that before we get into any textbook definitions, we have to get what nationalism feels like, you know? It's something you feel in your gut before you can even put a word to it.
So, the lesson asks students to imagine this. It's October 1st. That's Nigeria's Independence Day. Picture the green, white, green flag flying high, you hear the national anthem start to play, and you get that feeling, right? That little shiver of pride down your spine. That feeling, that's where it all starts. That's the seed.
All right, so you've got this powerful feeling, but how do you actually break it down into something you can, understand and talk about? Well, this lesson plan does something I think is just brilliant. It gives us a formula, the nationalism formula. It's like a cheat sheet for breaking down that Naija spirit.
Okay, first things first, let's get the official definition out of the way. The lesson says nationalism is, quote, a strong love, loyalty, and pride for your country. And right away, you can tell we're talking about something way deeper than just, cheering for your country in the World Cup. This is about a real, serious commitment.
And this is where that formula comes in. I love this. The source literally calls it a three-part package deal. So nationalism isn't just one thing. It's an equation. Love plus loyalty plus sacrifice. It's such a simple, powerful way to remember what it's all about. So let's break down those ingredients, right? Love. That's pretty straightforward. It's having a real affection for your country, its people, its land. Loyalty. That's about sticking by it, even when things get rough. But then you have sacrifice. And the lesson points out that this is the tough one. This is being ready to give something up, your time, your comfort, maybe even a personal goal, all for the greater good of the country.
Okay, so we've got the feeling, we've got the formula. But this isn't just some abstract idea floating around in your head, right? The lesson makes it super clear that nationalism actually shows up in the real world, in our everyday lives. And it does that in 3 totally distinct ways.
And here they are, the 3 pillars we're going to look at: political, economic, and cultural. You can almost think of them as the different playing fields where this Naija spirit gets put into action.
First up, political nationalism. This one's all about power and freedom. And for Nigeria, the textbook example, the big one, is the fight for independence from colonial rule. It's that drive to make sure your country runs itself, makes its own decisions, and stands up for its own interests out there in the world.
Next, we have economic nationalism. And yeah, you guessed it, this is all about the money. The core idea here is really simple. A country's entire economy, its businesses, its trade, all its resources, it should all be set up to help its own people first. Keep the wealth at home.
And this is what I love about this lesson. It makes it so practical. Look at this. It's called the shopper's choice. So imagine you're at the market. You need new shoes, you could buy some imported brand, or you could buy a pair of Abba-made shoes made right there in Nigeria. Economic nationalism is the voice in your head saying, go for the Abba shoes. Why? Because that money, it stays right here. It supports a local business, local jobs, and makes the whole country a little bit stronger.
And that brings us to our third pillar, cultural nationalism. So if political is about power and economic is about money, then cultural, well, that's all about identity. It's about celebrating and fiercely protecting all the things that make your country, well, your country. The stuff that makes it unique.
And look at these amazing examples the lesson gives. This is nationalism you can see and hear. It's speaking your mother tongue, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. It's rocking traditional clothes like Azo Oke or Isiagu. It's going to see the latest Nollywood blockbuster or blasting music from Nigerian artists. It's all about celebrating your culture out loud.
Okay, so we get what it is, we see how it works, but so what? Why is this so important? Why is nationalism taught as, the essential glue that holds a super diverse country like Nigeria together?
Well, the lesson lays out 4 huge reasons. First, it unites people. I mean, think about it. Nigeria has over 250 ethnic groups. Nationalism is what brings them all together under one flag.
Second, it inspires that sacrifice we talked about. It's what motivates people to do things like pay their taxes to help the country grow. Third, it protects that unique identity, all that culture we just saw. And finally, it's supposed to be a check on the leaders, to make sure they're always making decisions that are best for all Nigerians.
All right, as we start to wrap this up, let's take everything we've talked about, that shiver of pride, the love, loyalty, sacrifice formula, the three types, and boil it all down to one single powerful idea, the main takeaway.
So what is it? What's the one core idea that ties this whole thing together?
It's this, right here. The common good is greater than personal interest. That's it. That's the ethical heart of the whole lesson. It's the big takeaway. The idea that what's good for everyone is more important than what's good for just you.
And that really leaves us with a huge question, one that goes way beyond Nigeria, right? It's something for all of us to think about. In your own life, when does the good of your community outweigh your own personal wants? It's a tough one, but a really powerful question to sit with. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown.